What is Shaolin versus Wutang? It's produced by Lee Productions. It's on Steam. I don't think it's on PlayStation. It wouldn't be It wouldn't be bad if it was on PlayStation, but I think this is a pretty solid game. I played a little bit of it last night to see what it was about before I did Rate That Fighter, so I could get some of my thoughts together. I didn't want to just go in raw. This is a love letter to Kung Fu movies, the old school Kung Fu movies. It's a 1v1 indie style game. I think only 2 guys made it. It has over 30 fighters. This is the second version of it. The first one, I don't know how many fighters came in there, but there were quite a few. But this one is the second one, and it's been updated. So I'm going to say this is like the definitive one. It has cinematic angles. It has great music so far that I can see. It has multiple modes. And it like almost actually feels like you're in a Kung Fu movie. But I think the only downside to this game is that it wasn't backed by a major publisher. It just kind of is what it is. So the moveset is slightly limited. Like I wish there was more to the moveset, but overall it's not bad. It can get a tad bit repetitive just because of the nature of how this game works, but like I said, it's not that bad, so we're gonna rate it. Honestly, it reminds me of a Virtua Fighter on a 2D plane, just kind of where the buttons are at, right? But it has a lot of good stuff that is. I don't know what I'm trying to say. This is sign language where I don't know what I'm trying to say. Oh my goodness, I did not mean to do that. All right, cool. We have Rate That Fighter, and we're rating Shaolin versus Wutang on today. So I was pleasantly surprised with this game. There's a lot of good things. There's a few bad things, but overall, I think this is a great game in general. But only time will tell. Maybe it's my bias because I was enjoying what was there. But I think it might get a decent score because it was a decent. It played decently, and there was a couple things that I really liked that went into it. In my opinion, it's a 2D Virtua Fighter. It kind of is what it is, 2D Virtua Fighter. But let's start with the top here. Intro. I gotta be fair, there was no intro. You just jump into it, then it goes into, you know, a little demo state. Not an intro. Character select screen. That character select screen really wasn't that bad. I'm gonna have to give this one a 12. It gave you an opportunity to see the characters and who they are, what they are. It's told you their fighting style instead of their name. I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure it was a copyright issue more than anything else, but I thought that was a cool feature there. So you picked from the bottom, this little diamond, and then above you get to see your character and what they look like. So I'm gonna give that a 12. Character viability, I think that's freaking great. I don't think there's doubles of any character, so I'm gonna give that maybe a 16. There's a lot of characters to choose from in this game, and you probably can choose from your favorite Kung Fu style. So I'll give that a 16. That's pretty good. Character design, considering I'm gonna give that a high one because each one of these characters look like the Kung Fu master that they were inspired by. So I'm going to get that a high grade. The game mechanics. I think this is a in-depth game. I kind of hate that they gave you the answers to the game, but at the same time, I'm glad because it's not like a super popular game. It got a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for, positive reviews on Steam, but not a lot of people are playing this game right now. Kind of is what it is. But the game mechanics in general, like I was saying earlier, it kind of plays like Virtua Fighter. You go AA, hold 4, AB, hold up, BB, and you go into this combo string or whatever. Very similar to Virtua Fighter. You have 3 buttons. Well, technically 4. You have like a evasive button, but then you have kick, punch, and you get to use a weapon. I thought that was pretty cool. You can grab by pushing, you know, the weapon button and the punch button, and it just kind of laid out very similar to Virtua Fighter. So I'm gonna have to give this a higher score. I'm gonna give it a 26. It's not fully flushed out, all right? I think they could do a little bit more work to it, but it's still pretty cool. I really dig it. I really like it. The game design, I think, is freaking great. The cutscenes kind of remind me of old school Tekken or an old school Street Fighter. I like the way it looks overall. I'm gonna give that let me give it a 12. Character customizations and options. Each one of these guys have a different outfit. They have like 2 to 3 different outfits. You can even change, like with Chuck Norris, the Chuck Norris character, and they don't call him Chuck Norris, but you know who it is. You can give him hair on his face if you want to. You can change from a shirtless gi or gi on, and then you can change the color. I think that's really cool. So I'm gonna give that one, it's not perfect, so I'm gonna give that a 7. No, yeah, I'm gonna give that a 7. The music. I think this is the first time I'm doing this. The music is freaking great. The music has a perfect score because it has the music of old school kung fu movies. I love that. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm talking about. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the old school kung fu movies I'm talking about. Freaking great, right? Love it. Love it, love it. That's a 15. Outro and game endings, that wasn't great at all. I'm gonna give it a 9. The fact that it had one, it was cool. It just had a still shot of what happened and then words at the bottom. It existed. Replay value. I think the replay value of this, the only problem I have, I don't think a lot of people are playing that, but there's an achievement there to beat the game with all the characters, beat like the arcade mode / story mode with all the characters. I'd be down to do that. But other than that, well, let me think. They have tournament mode, they have team battle, they have tag battle, they have survival. They have a lot of good stuff there. There's a lot of replay value here. I'm gonna give that a 14. I think that's fair. The overall look and feel, it's very gritty. I feel that it's very gritty, but it's gritty in a very charming way, man. And then you have the music to come along with it as well. I think that's really good. I'm gonna give it a higher one. I'm gonna give it a 31 because just all of it coming together is really good. There's a little clunkiness to it. I can admit that. And trying to figure out, like, how do I get this combo pattern down without mashing, right? It feels good in the hands once you get a hold of it. I didn't get an opportunity to play other people because I don't think there's online here. You have to sit down with somebody or have a partition to do the online part. If it doesn't have that and I just missed it and overlooked it, please let me know. I don't mind revisiting it a little bit later, but that's what I saw. Additional gameplays and mode, it had a lot of it. It had a tournament mode, it had a tag mode, it had survival mode, it had training mode. There's a lot of different modes. I'll give that a 4. So it goes with kind of with the whole replay value section. There was no story. It said story mode, but it's really arcade mode, yo. No story. Online gameplay, I'm gonna have to put 0. I wasn't able to do that. Again, it's extra credit, so it could help the game, but overall, I didn't see that. I think there's it might be something that I'm missing. So if I'm missing something, let me know in the comments. I'll change the score. Was it good for its time? When was this game made? Let me see. Let me look at when this game was made. Store page. I'm right now. I'm looking at the Steam page. This was made in 2023. Ouch! There's a lot of good stuff happening in 2023. You had Street Fighter 6. You had Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna have to say Mortal Kombat's the better game. During that time, during the release, same thing with Street Fighter. And if you kind of compare it to some other things in other games that had released in 2023, I don't necessarily think it was good for its time. So I can't give it any points here. If this was, I think this is a game. If this was released at this quality in like 2006, I'm gonna say that funny, 2006, 2006, I think we could say it was good for its time, but I cannot say that is good for its time. Why is that yellow? I don't know why that's yellow. Let's change the color of that. Let's make it that blue like everything else. There it is. What? Why is it yellow like that? That's odd. Okay. And it's still staying yellow. I can't figure it out. I'll figure that out later. All right, cool. That's what's up. So, hey, hot dog. I scrolled down too early, but regardless I scrolled down too early or not to do a little drum roll or whatever, 74.42. I think that's a fair score for a game like this. A C minus? Let's see what happened if it just got a 10. A 10 for its intro, because I think the intros are important. Just got a 10 for the intro. Let's see what that would happen. What would happen there if that happened? It would have a high C. If it had a great intro, let's see what happens. Let's say an 18 for an intro. It would have a freaking B minus. But because, see, these intros are really killing the games here. They're really killing the games. But C minus, I think that's pretty good. Gave it a little bit of extra credit there. That's freaking great as well. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I definitely think I'm happy with that. With that, guys, what do you think about Shaolin versus Wutang? I think this was a fun game for me. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to revisit it myself just so I can get the achievements in general. Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. With that, I'm the most determined soul, C.J. Berry, the leader of waves and waves of people in determination, success and victory. Don't block with your face, and I'll see you on the next time. Peace out.
Six million.